it says something important. What I care about is what he does for people of color. And I think we have been in a paradigm for a long time where we have become so responsive to people getting up and giving speeches and talking about what they want to do and what they want to see. But then, I don't know, I mean, we've had 30 or 40 years of black politicians being in cities and being in Congress. And there are a lot of factors about why the country and Black America is where it is. But you can make the argument that we have not done as much about race as we have said about race. We now have the opportunity to have a president who can do more in a bill and an act than he could ever make the point of having if he says something. And perhaps it's a political judgment that not talking about, his presence reminds people about race every time he shows up on television, so he doesn't really have to talk about the fact that he's black, because people know it when they see him. So you can instead look at what he's done. So for the Urban League, I would argue, and this has been one of the strengths of the Urban League in particular, I think, over time, is that it's an organization built around coalition. And so finding coalitions that have to do with non-racial policies that will have major impacts on African Americans, I think is where this country is headed politically. I think, and in fact, to get back to Robert's point, when you make, and I don't think this is the point he was making, but I'll make it. When you make the argument, when you take a look at the constitutional issues that have come up, and the country is moving in a direction that because, especially now because of Barack Obama being president, that there are a lot of people who are going to have little tolerance when black people come and say things aren't fair. They're going to say, what are you talking about? We just elected a black president. You can do whatever you want to do. The question is whether or not you get up and you do it. So we've got to find ways to make those arguments that are going to be more creative, that may not have the same racial overtone, but still accomplish big things for black people. And I think that's the approach that the Obama administration is taking, because they're not going to talk about how much money was in the bill that's going to employ more black police officers in Detroit. They're going to just hire a bunch of police officers everywhere, and then you'll see that there are more black police officers. They're not going to talk about how many black children are going to be affected by the education bill. They're going to try to fix schools, and then black children will be helped by the fact that the schools have been fixed. So I think we've got to hold him accountable at the end of the 4 years or at the end of the midterms and say, don't talk to me about what you said, let's look at the impact that that's had on African Americans over the last 2 years. And if it's on the plus side, we clap, and if it's on the negative side, we come back and we complain and we ask for some more.
I see both my lobbyists leaning forward. Robert, did you want to comment on that? Oh, okay.